of the functionality in your application. In these other frameworks like Next and Nuxt, it uses what's called page-based routing. And so basically what it looks like is you have a directory usually called pages, and if you have a file in there called users or something, and you go into the browser and you hit /users in the browser, you get that page. And if you make a new template, you can just immediately hit it in the browser. So it's actually a very convenient way to develop applications, because when you make a new page, you can just immediately access it and start building the application without really writing a route or a controller or jumping across like maybe 3 different files to build a feature. And I find it like a very fast developer feedback loop and a very productive way to sort of hack on applications. And so that's exactly what Laravel Folio brings to Laravel 10. So I'm going to show you how it works now. So this is sort of the root of my application. I'm going to open this up in my Sublime text. And you can see here, if we go into my routes directory, I don't have a bunch of routes, I just have folio route. And then I say to resource path, views, pages. So if you've used Laravel, you may expect that is in here in the resources directory, and then I have a pages directory, and here's all the pages in my application. And Folio has some additional conventions. So you'll see here within the pages directory, I have index.blade.php. And Folio has conventions to where if I hit the root of my application, the index.blade.php template will be rendered. So that's basically what you're seeing on the screen right now. I'm on the root of my application, and if I go into pages, you can see there's that. And we can see that also within the users directory, we can have another index. So the users index is if I hit /users in my browser, and there's not like an explicit users.blade.php in the page directory, it will say, is there an index in the users directory? And if so, we'll just use that. So if I pop open this user index in my browser, if I go to /users, you'll see that we have the list of users. Let me add a few more. So that's what you're seeing rendered on the page. And you can see if we hop into that Blade template, that we're just pulling some data straight from Eloquent right in the Blade template and just dumping it out into a simple Tailwind template. Now, of course, you can also route to pages that aren't indexes. So, for example, we have a stats page within this users directory. And in Sublime, I can't make the side text or sidebar bigger, or else I would. But within the users directory, we have stats.blade.php. And if we go into that, it just shows some stats about the users in our application, like how many we have in the application and what the name of the latest user to be added to the application is. And so basically I can access this page just by going to stats in my browser. Oh, can I? Oh, it's user stats, sorry. User stats. And we see how many users I have, and we have that Taylor Otwell was the latest user added to the application. And again, we're just hitting Eloquent directly in that template, keeping things very simple, very easy. So if you can read the sidebar, you might be wondering, what is this kind of weird looking page right here that has brackets in the file name? And basically, this is the same as defining a Laravel route that captures a URL segment as a wildcard parameter. So in this example, I have square brackets, and then I have ID within those square brackets. So this will match any request to /users /1, 2, 3, any ID or any string at all, it will match to this page, and it will inject the ID into the template so that we can use it to access things, to do whatever we want. So this page will be rendered when I click on one of these users. So if I go back to my user list, this links to my page, and I say user/1, and you can see there's my user profile with my name and so on. All right, so everything just works really smooth. It's really fast to develop with. I just drop a blade template in the pages directory, hit it in my browser, start building, start using Tailwind or whatever I want to do to build my awesome new application. There's even more you can do. You're not limited to just wildcard pages. You can also have wildcard directories. So when you might use this is something like, if you look at this flights directory, I have flights, and then within that I have a directory, brackets ID, and then within that I have connections.blade.php. So maybe we're checking the flight connections for a certain flight, and maybe we're going to have other pages that are nested under this ID. And so basically I access this in very much the same way that we access the user profile. I just go to /flights/some ID, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, /connections, and then it will give me that ID in this page, and I can use that to show the flight connections for that flight ID. And again, you can see that it was injected right here into the template. So let's try hitting that route. Flight/1/connections. You see there's the connections for flight 1, and I can, make this any ID, flight 10 or flight 100 or whatever. So wildcard directories let you build sort of nested URLs like post ID, categories, category ID, and build these sort of deep URL structures just using page-based routing in Laravel. All right, so one more thing I want to show you is the ability to have multi-segment wildcard pages. So this is kind of taking things a step further. So within the orders directory, I have brackets, ... order IDs, .blade.php. And so what this will do is any request to /orders, and then anything that comes after that in the URL, it will capture and give it to me as an array. So I can say orders /1/2/3 or whatever, and I'll get all of that injected into the template as an array. So if we look at the template, you can see that I'm showing orders, and I'm just going to implode all those order IDs, and then we'll just have the list of them there on the page. And you can see that it injected order IDs because I named the page, the thing inside the bracket is also order IDs. So that's why it injected the variable as order IDs. So if we hit this route, order /1/2/3, we see orders 1, 2, 3. So that is an overview of Laravel Folio. Simple page-based routing for Laravel, inspired by tools like Next.js and Next.js. And I can imagine you might pair Folio with something like Laravel Nova, use Nova to update things on the back end, maybe pull some data on the front end. First time in 7 years, I'm going to debut 2 secret projects at Laracon. And I want to keep it up a notch with another secret project, an experimental prototype of something that I'm calling Laravel Bolt. And of course, Kaneko, he delivered again with a fresh logo for us here. So I want to warn you, this is an experimental tool that we've been working on. I've been collaborating with some people on. It may not come out for a few more months. I'm sure we'll be refining it, tweaking it, but Laracon India has been so special that I wanted to share another cool thing with you here today for a second day full of energy. All right, so to make this happen, I'm going to switch to another branch in this project, the Volt branch. Let me make sure that is clean. I'm going to check out Volt. I'm going to rebuild my assets. And I'll just go ahead and reseed our database as well.